Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. I am joined by my regular co-host, Haythroon. How are you doing, my lady?
I am doing great. The weather has finally turned up here in the Northeast, and it is starting to feel like fall. How are you?
I'm the same thing here. It's actually turned and it's starting to feel like fall, not like winter, like it was for the past 2 weeks.
You got a little early winter up there in Calgary?
Oh, it was ridiculous. I was snowed in for one day. It was so bad, about 1.5 feet of snow or something.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome to Canada. We also have Bombadil joining us. How are you doing, brother?
I'm great. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. I've got my regular liquid charisma in a glass. And, start things off. Hey, Drew, what do you think of the chili dogs video?
Oh, my God. It was very disturbing.
There's something so incredibly creepy about seeing a grown man dressed like Sonic the Hedgehog eating a disgusting chili dog and getting it all over his white gloves and nose.
Yeah, that was pretty disturbing.
Did you lose a little bit of faith in humanity and the internet?
I think I lost an IQ point or two. Hopefully I recover them during this stream.
I'm thinking this might become a new feature. Show something awful from the internet to Haythroon and get her reaction.
Yeah, like 5 minutes before we go live, right?
We'll have to do it live. Anyway, aside from that old meme, and I trust everyone in the audience knows what I'm talking about. If not, just Google "it's chili dog time" and enjoy the horror show that you get from that. We're going to be talking about the NPC meme. So this is just absolutely blowing up. The NPC meme, it kind of started with this article, and this is really interesting, suggesting that there's some people that don't have inner monologues, or a lot of people, they just have a very small inner monologue. And reading about it, it's mind blowing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so this got connected to the way that these SJWs, these left-wing creatures, they're just so programmable, right? I saw a great version of the NPC meme what they did, actually, I should finish off this. They took the Wojak meme and colored him gray and just put these two dead black eyes on it with a straight mouth.
And the Picasso nose.
Yes, a big, sharp Picasso nose. And the left is absolutely freaking out about it because it so aptly describes them. There's one version I saw where the NPC is going, "The Republican Party is destroying America." And Wojak responds, "Well, actually, it's the two-party system that's destroying America. The fact that both are owned and controlled by wealthy elites that aren't answerable to the public, et cetera, et cetera." And the NPC responds, "Time to watch Rachel Maddow." Yeah, the left is going absolutely nuts because of this. They're going nuts because it's so apt.
Well, they don't like having that mirror thrown up and the truth reflected back on them.
There's something Bulwarker sent to me earlier today that it was a picture of these leftists freaking out. And what if I told you to change each letter in the word mob to the next letter in the alphabet? And you get NPC.
That's funny.
That's great. I think Bullfurker's in the chat tonight. Hi, Bullfurker.
Yes, I saw him there. Hey, brother, if you want to jump on, feel free.
Do you want me to shoot him the link?
Yeah. Same thing with you, Forney. If you want to jump on. As he points out, go read Terror House magazine. It's the only literary magazine that proudly resists the influence of NPCs in literature. And I know we also have Leslie Soul in the chat. She has some pieces that have been published there. Next one, I think it was called The Poisoner, something like that. Good little short story, good little creepypasta for the Halloween times.
Awesome. I might be appearing on a Halloween show. I got a tentative, I should say, invitation. But once that's confirmed, I will let you guys know.
Ooh, look forward to it.
Yes.
Exciting.
Let's see. Interesting. The link to Matt if he wants to join, and to Bulwarker. So it's rather late where Forney is.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
So yeah, folks, I mentioned in the chat this will be a call-in show. Because I've been working my ass off all week, and there hasn't really been too much in the news. The NPC meme is exploding, and it's so damn funny. I posted that one of Trudeau up earlier on my Twitter account, and that one seems to be going rather well. Because I mean, like, good lord, Trudeau is just such an NPC.
Or thoughts on Kanye West?
Kanye West, I still think he has a stupid name. Even if he supports Trump, it's a stupid name. Why doesn't he go by his real name? Like Bill Peterson, whatever the hell his name is.
That's a pretty lame name.
Well, it's not as lame as Kanye West.
Kanye West has a better ring to it.
What the hell is a Kanye? That's just some shit he made up.
I don't know, man.
Kanye. It's kind of like cognac, but not quite.
Yeah.
That's a verbal equivalent of Prince signing his name.
It's like the lower shelf version of cognac.
Right. There's Cavassier and Hennessy, and then there's Kanye.
Kanye.
Why do all these rappers have to give themselves such ridiculous names? 50 cents, Ice Cubes. I mean, really?
It's like the generic bottom shelf cognac.
Why not be $5? $5. That's 10 times 50 cents.
What if a rapper came out that called himself Little Aurini? What would you do?
Oh my God. He would be from the T.O. I just know it. And that's another thing. That's another list. Anybody that says T. is an NPC. That's something that originated in the Toronto rap scene. They started referring to Toronto, Ontario as T.O. By dot, they mean period. They don't know what the word period means, though, so they use dot.
Okay.
Like these people, they literally, there is nothing in their heads. And they just download, download cultural information, ding, 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 and then they get, okay, respect all women's, diversity is our strength.
Well, it's because they've been programmed to be programmable, right? There's no capacity to critically think there at all.
What it really boils down to is whether or not do you have a vivid inner life? Do you have I think the study, I've read the published report on the study, and it doesn't provide any numbers. It doesn't really say very much. So the study could be it could be misapplied. And it's not addressing the fact that there are some people that think in nonverbal manners, but are evidently very intelligent, very original thinkers. A couple of people on the Rouge V forum discussing this meme mentioned that, I don't exactly have an inner monologue. Doesn't mean I'm not thinking. It's just it's not verbal thought.
Right.
And their posting history shows that they are deep thinkers.
I've got a lot of monologue. I got me. I've got Jesus. I've got Mary, the demons, all these people. I got a lot of dialogue. I don't know what these people are doing.
He's got a party going on in his head.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the NPCs. Must suck.
There's this great bit from Doug Stanhope and Doug Stanhope is a very soulful comedian. He's dark, he's atheistic, he's cynical, but he's very soulful. And he likes to joke about the circus in his head. Like, this is why he needs to drink, is because if he doesn't, the circus takes over. And he'll lie down in bed, and suddenly the Calliope music starts. Da, 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 da. You're 35, and you don't have anybody that loves you or wants to share their life with you. Da, 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 da. Your mother really should be ashamed of you if she weren't such a failure herself. Da, 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 da.
If I was sorting out the voices, what would I be doing?
Yeah, seriously. I don't know. I mean, I think the whole NPC thing is just another expression of the rampant feminine mindedness that we have in the culture right now. I was about to say feminine mindedness on steroids, but I guess it would be feminine mindedness on estrogen or soy, either one.
Boy,
Soy, yeah.
Well, one of the things you've been we were chatting about the other day is, you know, like if feminine mindedness is rampant in both sexes right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was reading an article today. I mean, this was written some years ago, but it caught my eye because it was speaking to this, and it actually uses that language. It refers to it as a feminine mindset. And the title of the article is "Inside the Mind of the Cathedral: How the Left Thinks." And yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Oh God, Purveyor of Mercy points out that there is a rapper called Dala.
Oh no.
Why don't they ever spell anything correctly either? Fiddy. Like Fiddy. Oh my God. It hurts. It hurts, I tell you.
Yeah, it does.
I feel like we need a Gib.
We do. We need some super chats.
You know what? There's also a button down there to the Free Folk website if you want to help Haythrun in her efforts.
Yeah, buy me some whiskey, guys. Appreciate it. I'm sitting here drinking water, you know.
By the way, they have been bearing fruit lately. We just had a moot the other day. Bombadil, what was your impression of the people that joined us on the moot?
I had to like sit up straighter in my seat when I heard these people. Not your typical internet chuckleheads, not at all.
Yeah, these were only a few people for the first one, but good Lord, were they switched on. Just
I was gonna say, do you want to share, either one of you, do you want to share a little bit about what went on and what your perspective was on it? And...
Well, the purpose of this moot was just to introduce to everybody what exactly it is that we're doing with the Free Folk, how it works. And, you know, the best example, Alinsky. Look at what Alinsky did. Alinsky essentially went around providing, like, he had this little structure. He's like, here you go. You want your organization to succeed? Use this. Follow this structure right here. And, you know, I'll help you implement this so you start having effects upon the real world. Now, make no mistake, Alinsky was an evil son of a bitch, and his organizational structure was all about parasiting off of civilization, sucking the lifeblood out of America. But it doesn't mean he was stupid. And by doing this, creating all these individual organizations all over the place without any formal hierarchy, without any head to attack, all of a sudden you've got an army. All of a sudden you can hold sway. And so the idea behind all of this is to get people in their communities organizing and for their own benefit. Okay, that's the number one thing, is that this getting together, having a structure, having this organization, having this community is good for you, period. Okay, having a bunch of people that not only will help you achieve great things, but will hold you up to a higher standard. So you're not just another atomized, lonely person who's wondering to themselves, why the hell do I work so hard when I just come home to an empty apartment? No. So the number one thing, get people together, because we all want this. I think most of us, I think not all of us, okay, there's a lot of people on the internet that are completely happy with the status quo. They're happy just arguing with people, whether it doesn't matter who they're arguing with. They're happy with their video games, etc. And super chat from Red Pill Jesus. Hip hop is a cringy parody of masculinity. Yeah, it's, well, I guess this goes back to fatherlessness, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I think that's why a lot of people are suffering. I mean, I know it's a reason why a lot of people are suffering today and are lacking that self-esteem and that drive. We need to cultivate masculinity back into the culture so that people do have that motivation to strive.
Well, and that's the Free Folk is primarily patriarchal.
I wouldn't say it's patriarchal per se, but we definitely focus on cultivating masculine mindedness. I mean, not just in men, but in women too, because it is a mature state of mindedness. And Bullfurker has joined us. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Had to take care of the mutt, and so I missed what you started off with. Sounds like you're talking about masculinity.
Yeah, we were talking about the moot that Aurini hosted on Saturday, and Bombadil was part of it, so we were just getting their feedback on how that went.
You know, I was expecting to get a lot of people that were needing the organization. The people that did show up, it was, okay, how can I start doing this with people around me? So
right.
It's absolutely brilliant. Very, very switched on people. You know, like we have got the good people here. This little corner of the internet, these are the switched on people that we have. These are not the right-wing NPCs that, you know, not allowed in cultural diversity, download right-wing hate speech.
Right. Oh, we got a little bit of an echo. Not sure who that's coming from. Okay, that was from you. But yeah, you're talking about doing these once a month. Is that right? To offer it to people who want to find out what it is that we're doing and how to folk build in their local communities.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
Oh, that you were tossing around the idea of hosting these moots once a month to give the public access to our folk building resources and how they can start doing this in their local communities.
Exactly. So that's the plan. We're going to have once a month, the second Saturday of every month, we are going to have an online moot. To which, guys, if you're interested in that, go click on the Free Folk website down below. And
yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, this is just to explain how the organization works, how it's structured, what its purpose is, and really just to encourage people. Because like right now, we're kind of stuck doing it online. We're all in different locales right now.
Right. And just to clarify, we don't consider the Free Folk itself as an organization. It's a folk building effort, but within that effort, individuals can start tribes. And that is what we encourage, that they build tribes in their local communities, in their regional communities. What we do is we help them to do that. We help them to build themselves, build relationships with others, and then build those communities and hopefully economies and networks that are going to uplift their folk. So that's really the role that we play. But the Free Folk itself is not an organization per se.
No, it's a manual.
That's right.
And if you decide that you are going to start forming one of these organizations, it's entirely up to you what the flavor of it is, what the context of it is.
Right.
So yeah, we had some heathens. We had an Orthodox Christian on. It's not, none of this stuff is the organization. You should probably follow the structure because the structure works for a good reason. It works for the same reason that the Free State Wyoming project doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is all based on how our Indo-European ancestors did things a long time ago when things did work, and it did result in building civilization. So we're taking those tenets and models that did work, and we're applying them in the modern day, and adding a little creativity to work with or rather address the challenges that we're facing in the modern day. And with that, we're hoping to build something successful and worthy that we can pass on to the next generation.
Yeah, we're rebuilding civilization. We are reclaiming our civilization.
And it might be a good thing to think of the Free Folk as basically a hub for all of these separate tribes to network on, rather than as a group or organization of its own.
Right.
In other words, it's not a tribe. It's the network that the tribes are built on.
That's a very good way of putting it. And as we've said before, we're in the process of building a new website. The current website that we have up right now was geared more towards the local effort that we had here for a number of years. Now that we're expanding into a more online effort, we're going to have more resources available. We're going to have a calendar of events. We're going to have local, regional, and virtual folk building resources there that people can access directly. We'll have a way for people who are interested in doing folk building to apply directly There'll be a form there, and then they can get they'll get on a list for folk building moots, and they can participate in those. So there's a lot more resources that are going to become available with the new website. And then, of course, we'll also be launching the Free Folk Radio Network, which is going to be a podcasting platform. I will be doing some programming, and Bullverker is going to be doing some programming. I think Aurini is also going to be contributing to that, and we may have some other folks involved. So a lot more is coming down the pipeline.
Bureau Journey nails it with a super chat. You know, open source tribalism.
That's a perfect, that's perfect way of putting it. And thank you for the super chat.
And let's be clear as well, it's not a political organization or anything. It's a club. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a lot of implications that comes from all of this, but basically we're doing what everybody used to do on their own, except we don't do that anymore. Now we trust the government to do it for us. Our churches don't even do it. So yeah, it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work maintaining civilization.
And I think
toss Hey Thrune some shekels if you got them, because she is working very hard on all of this.
Yeah, I mean, the shekels don't go entirely to me. I mean, a large portion of it goes to the Free Folk effort proper. I take very little for myself. So, yeah, just so that you guys are aware of that. What was I going to...
the Free Folk has partnered with a candle company.
Yeah, we're going to be offering some products on the new website as well that are made by members of the folk. So, yeah, you wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, you sent me some, and they are great. So, guys, if you like candles, especially during the winter, keeps your house warm, check those out.
Yeah, that'll be available with the new website as well.
And Tom Bombadil says US $10 and says it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
So, let's get back to the NPCs. Let's get back to the rap scene. Let's touch on that super chat earlier, talking about the rap scene. There was an observation that really stood out to me with the hip hop, rap, and whatnot. And have you noticed how obsessed over their shoes these men are?
Oh, over their shoes?
Yeah. Like you scuff a puma, you get into a gunfight.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, isn't that just so feminine, the obsession over footwear?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, that's part of the whole, feminine vanity.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I don't think a lot of us notice it because we look at rappers and they look absolutely absurd to us. Mm-hmm. But there is a huge amount of vanity in how they're dressed. And again, it's this is what happens when you have a generation raised by single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. White Devil from the Illuminati comments that they have sneaker blogs.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. It's at the point now I can't even buy running shoes because I just look at them and they look so stupid these days. It's like I just want something to wear to the gym. I don't need 8 different colors and swoosh-tikas all over the place. Bobby Dangerous is a hateful comment. Sorry, what was that, Bombadil?
I will say a good pair of shoes is probably the best place to start if you're trying to update your style or upgrade your style. Is a nice pair of shoes.
Oh, I will point out, by the way, guys, if you have nice shoes, it works. I've had many women approach me and start a conversation by complimenting my shoes. So guys don't notice shoes. Well, we shouldn't notice shoes, but if you polish your boots properly, the ladies will notice.
But that's different from having every pair of Jordans that comes out every year or however often. Yeah, there's a huge difference between dressing well and obsessing vainly over your dress.
Mm-hmm.
The pastor of that church I used to be part of, I think he said Jesus told him to get some ridiculously expensive shoes, and then he literally scuffed his Pumas or whatever they were, and then Jesus told him to buy a new pair of shoes, apparently. It's funny. It's funny that that's what Jesus told them to do. Sure, I guess.
Go get some shoes.
Buy new shoes. You got a scuff there. Don't worry about the poor kids in Africa, even though you're suffering from racism. Buy more shoes. No, whatever.
It was funny during the hurricanes here. We were making jokes that we were going to get the sneakers out of the shoe store, throw them out in the middle of the street, and hunt over bait.
Oh. Ouch.
Ouch.
Well, let's face it, it's a lot cheaper to get a pair of sneakers than to buy 5 pounds of gold necklaces to hang around your neck. So it's the newer, lower class bling.
Oh, good. There is nothing worse than lower class bling. Like, not like white, black doesn't matter. The low class garbage that they buy, it's like, oh, you have to make everything terrible.
Right. Got another super chat from Viral Journey, US $5. Gangbangers are on the down low. Every rapper talks about it in so many words.
You know what? Again, there is a lot of discussion over the fact that every single major hip hop artist, they have to suck a dick to get their contracts. And, this goes back to that fragile, like that overly tough, because it's actually quite fragile masculinity that they put out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a faux masculinity. It's not true masculinity.
Yeah, it's not confident. It's not solid. It's not trustworthy. It's desperate for affirmation, desperate for attention.
Mm-hmm. Which is a feminine behavior.
We also have to remember these are the same guys that are walking around with their pants at half-mast, signaling they're open for gay sex, I guess, to try to put a image forth that they were in prison, so they're tough guys now or something.
Yeah, that's what it means in prison. If you wear your pants like that, you're offering your butthole.
Wow.
So they're walking around all big and bad, advertising that they're the catcher.
Right, which that's also feminine behavior. That's what animals do in the wild, female animals do to signal that they're sexually receptive.
Bright red baboon ass in the air.
Hey, I'm just talking biology here,
It's that old Southern saying, showing your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and good Lord, there's a lot of people that like to show their ass these days.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to read something from this article that I was reading today. It says, we can immediately recognize the legacy of Puritanism in all this, and also the left's intrinsically feminine mindset, emotionally labile and undisciplined, unable to subjugate the passions to reason and ascend to the masculine level of the impartial and objective, and so incapable of distinguishing between the political and the personal, disputation and attack, objection and outrage. I think that about sums it up.
Yes, and the fact that it does come out of Puritanism.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I don't like about the United States. It's just the strain of Puritanism.
Yeah.
The Puritans, again, it's one of these things. If you're too much on one side, it spills out on the other. The Puritans are absolutely obsessed with controlling sex, leading to this whole sex cult mentality. And so you have people on both sides in America. One side will say America is completely lax in its sexual morals, which is true. And the other side will say America is completely repressive with its sexual morals, which is also true.
And that's what makes them obsessed. That's why people get obsessive over sex.
Forney had a comment recently, I think in one of his, he wrote like a poem or something. And he was just talking about how, he was accustomed to the creative and terrible Catholic sex, and the first time he had Protestant sex, he was like, "Oh, this is quite boring." Because in general, Catholics have a better attitude towards it. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You should probably wait till marriage, though.
Yeah. And Dashing Rogue sends US $5. Thank you. Low class glamour is still glamour. Smart people of higher truths seek better glamour.
See, it's the low class stuff is just so it's bright colors, it's sparkly for the sake of sparkly. It's it's logos and symbols that don't actually like they don't know what it means. I saw a girl going around with this cubic zirconium necklace of a dollar sign. Like, really? That's what you're putting out into the world? We got Roizzy Reader, who has a comment about the whole hip-hop industry.
Oh, welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you here. So what's on your mind?
Okay, so the hip hop thing got brought up, and it got brought up in the chat as well. Someone said that it was like a parody of masculinity, and that's not untrue. But I wanted to make a point about music and why certain music is popular, why certain artists are popular, and it's not for the music. Okay, like it's never really about music. It's all about narrative. Who is the person? Who is the artist? What is the story that you can sell more than the music? So
right, yeah,
what we're seeing
musician doesn't matter. I've heard some amazing musicians, but they don't have that story about who they are.
Correct. And the smart way to market music is to market the story, like not the music. So what we're seeing with hip hop is that it's the only they know how to throw themselves out there the most in a way that is appealing to most people. It's to us, it doesn't really like, it doesn't hit me with the same. I don't share the common opinion on hip hop. I'm not a huge fan of it either. I'm a rock guy. I've been a rock musician for my whole life pretty much. So I'm saying this as a guy who has played in bands and stuff that I've seen this for myself too. It's not, and the thing is there is no like white, basically when we're talking about rock, we're talking about white music, right?
Right.
There isn't really anyone in the rock world since the 80s who has known how to basically be a masculine kind of icon, or since the 80s. And even then they're wearing like leather and shit, which is cool. I like a lot of 80s rock. But since like the Nirvana days, we haven't had like a sex symbol guy that's actually masculine in music. So that ground has all been lost and ceded to the hip hop world, which just filled a void. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I'm a musician too. And, I came up on the music of the 70s and the 80s. And you're absolutely right. There was a masculinity, it was almost like a shamanic kind of masculinity in the 70s, particularly with figures like Robert Plant, and also in the late 60s. We had Jim Morrison, these rock gods that were absolutely phallic, and it exuded this sexual energy that was very masculine, and we just don't have that anymore. And you're right, it seemed to have passed out of existence mid 80s, maybe. Mid 80s, late 80s, we started to have the hair bands and the androgyny and all that sort of thing.
Well, even a lot of the guys who looked, sorry, Davis, if you want to
go ahead.
Even a lot of the dudes who looked effeminate back then didn't act that way, like Motley Crue, for example. They kicked ass, they drove fast cars, they sang about bitches. They looked like women, but you know what? They were not like, they weren't like, I think it was Kurt Cobain and the whole Nirvana thing that kind of started the downtrend.
The sort of wimpy. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
It was in the 80s, guys would wear pink shirts because they were so masculine they could get away with wearing a pink shirt.
Yeah.
I think
don't forget the parachute pants.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
All of that. But that's the thing, is when these guys up on stage look like absolute freaks, it's because they can get away with dressing like that and still be masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And Strontium19 sends US $5 and says, y'all need to get Dr. E. Michael Jones on here sometimes. He'd have a lot to say about American materialism and music as it's used to control us. In fact, you know what? I'm going to send him a message through somebody I know to see if we can get him on. I'm a big, big fan of his work.
The last thing I wanted to say about that is like the introduction of irony as like a core artistic, where someone's coming from in music. Like back in the 80s and before, it seemed like irony wasn't a huge thing, but since the 90s, it's been like, if you're going to be a quote unquote rocker, you have to sing. They only sing about sex ironically, or sing about anything ironically. There's no like straightforward coolness like hip hop has going for it.
Well, I think this is all connected to the education system, where we're educating people to believe that everybody is special, everybody's a unique snowflake, everybody gets a trophy. And now what this leads to, when everybody's equal, well, you still want to stand out. So how do you stand out? Well, you can't stand out through virtue, because if everyone's equal, you being better than somebody else is oppressing them. So the only way that you can stand out and be better than others is by being weaker than other people. And so, yeah, we have this whole generation that believes the path to power is weakness. So by telling everybody that they're special, they're important, they matter, what we're doing is we're creating a generation full of neurotics who obsess over their failures, who obsess over their weaknesses. And the result, it spills out into music. It's all of this pathetic emo garbage by white bands.
Yeah,
Well, if you think about it, it's part of the whole passive-aggressive approach to life that people are taking nowadays.
Well, and it's so sad to see it. You know, like I see a lot of these young guys going around, they've got zero confidence. And rather than bragging about themselves, rather than advertising themselves, they do the exact opposite. They go and tell you the most embarrassing things about them. They go and tell you all their weaknesses and all their failures and all of that. It's like, no, dude, don't broadcast that to the world. Broadcast your successes, your victories, your accomplishments.
right. Yeah, I mean, in the heathen tradition, we have this tradition of toasting and boasting and yelping of our past deeds and our future deeds that we're oathing to complete. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be singing about our successes.
And, guys, this isn't... actually, quick super chat from Dashing Rogue, $2 US. Rappers are tricksters, if you think about it. To a certain extent, but again, it's a very degraded masculinity. Whereas the yelp that Hathrin just mentioned, it needs to be pointed out that this is not the same sort of pride as the theological term. The theological term pride means a lack of humbleness and a refusal to acknowledge your failures. Okay? You need to acknowledge your failures so you can grow from them, so you can learn from them. Making mistakes is how you learn. All right, and this goes, geez, you learn a new piece of software, you make a mistake, and you spend 45 minutes trying to undo the mistake. Well, now you just learned something about that software, and you're not going to make that mistake again. So the yelp is not, it's an entirely different type of pride. Okay, it's a good pride. When your football coach says, have some self-respect, have some pride in yourself. Walk with pride. These are good things. It's about adhering to a higher standard. It's not about rejecting God's standards, which is what the theological term means.
Perhaps we need to bring back the Greek term hubris rather than using the more generic pride.
Yes, hubris, the overweening pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great observation.
The problem with all of this stuff, when you're talking about very abstract things, it's very difficult to find correct words to use on it. Like a charity. Charity doesn't mean, well, I mean, charity can be a brutal thing to give to somebody, actually. It's the same as giving them enough rope to hang themselves.
Right.
But yeah, all these terms are... A lot of people, you know what, I agree, Bullworker, but at the same time, you can use the perfect language, stupid people will still misapply it.
Well, then that's why we need to, as a group, expand our vocabulary and be extremely oppressive and leave them behind.
Dashing Rogue comments, so rap songs are the Aesop's fable of our age. I guess you could put it that way. Because while Aesop's fables taught wisdom, rap songs teach you to act like a complete fool, to act feminine, to be this consumer void that constantly needs to be filled. And Red Pill Jesus sends US $5 and says, my fellow black men worship women more than any other race on this planet due to how overly submissive and needy they become around them. Well,
I was going to say, why that is? Because there's no fathers in the home. So the sons end up becoming the fill-in, so to speak, for the father opposite their mothers. The mothers come to rely on the sons, and so the sons glorify the mothers.
Misogyny. What misogyny is, the way it comes about, is when a boy gets severely abused by his mother, he both, because then as he turns into an adult, he craves the feminine energy, but he's afraid of the feminine energy. And so when he gets a woman, to keep her around, to prevent her from hurting him, he abuses her physically or mentally, however it is, because he's terrified of her. And so because his mother abused him, he's saying, I need to be careful around this woman. I need to break her, or else she's going to break me. And a lot of people point out how misogynistic rap lyrics are. Yeah, because these rappers were abused by their mothers. And that abuse, it's like the Puritan thing, where half the time they're like, sex is bad, don't enjoy it. And then you get the porn industry on the other end. And it's the same thing. The misogynist is just desperate for a woman to love him, and then talks about bitches and hoes, and just he half the time he's worshiping women, the other half he's treating them like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
See, US $2 from VRL Journey. The Frog and My Dick by 50 Kangs. That's the Aesop's fable.
But yeah, I mean, it all goes back to where's the father? You know, when the father's not in the home, it sets up conditions for this kind of dysfunction.
I meet black guys in Central Florida all the time who do not want to date black women at all.
Hmm.
A lot of the red pill guys too. I know Donovan Sharp, pretty popular red pill guy, will not date black women, and talks about black guys that are going to Brazil now to get women.
You know what? That's a smart idea.
Well, that's becoming a Western problem in general. I mean, a lot of conservative white males don't want to date white women either, I think for similar reasons.
I'm not particularly attracted to your average white woman. I mean, like, her physically, she looks great, but good Lord, I saw this girl the other day with like all these piercings on her face. Like, why'd you make yourself ugly?
Yeah,
you're a beautiful woman, but you're what you're doing is you're defacing the beauty that was given to you by God so that you could hold it in trust for your husband to give it to him. And instead, you have defaced the beauty that God made. Well done.
It seems to be almost a kind of dominance play on their part, where they try to make themselves as ugly and disgusting as they can, and then force you to tell them they're beautiful because, you know, you got to make up for the patriarchy.
Well, I think they're also angry at the fact that the men they encounter are such garbage. So like the boys running around that are, you know, good Lord, they're like talking about how they're bisexual, or they're talking about how they're a failure and how they respect women and all that garbage. They are so instinctively disgusted by what they see of masculinity out there that they go and deface beauty that could have been given to masculinity. Dashing Rogue sends $2 and says, Little Red Riding Hoodie and the Three Little Snitches.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's tough out there, you know. If you are a woman who has some morals, some virtue, you know, you tend to get looked over because there's so many crazy women out there that the guys won't even look, you know. They've kind of given up, and they either want to date outside of their race or they don't want to date at all.
There was that story that Common Filth related, I've mentioned it before, where this girl was dating a guy, and she thought he was a real man until one day he comes out to her that he's into adult baby diaper fetish. And the next day he went out and got a piercing.
And what does one do with that?
You know, it's like you're dating, you think you're dating a man, and suddenly, God, like, I mean, it's one thing to have a foot fetish or something. Honey, I want you to wear high heels around for me. Okay, that's one thing. But it's another, like, I want to wear a diaper and pretend to be a baby. What the hell, dude? What the hell is wrong with you? So yeah, we got Ian on. What's on your mind, Ian?
Basically, everything that's been said so far. At this point, I am pretty much an NPC agreeing with everything you've been saying so far, and I am totally fine with that.
Do you have a quest you'd like to offer me?
Yes, as for the next disturbing video, Davis should show you Mr. Hands.
I'm not showing that.
That's old, man.
That's just gross. I mean, the funny thing about the Sonic the Hedgehog video is that on the surface, it's just a guy in a costume eating a chili dog. Like, it shouldn't be as incredibly disturbing as it actually is. God, I am cancer. 624 says, diapers are so comfy and I don't even have to get up to use the bathroom. It's like, do you remember back like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the real degenerates, they'd have a pee bottle next to the computer? Okay, it's like, no, that wasn't degenerate enough for us. So it's like, oh, you call that degenerate? Hold my beer, honey.
Well, this is the path towards idiocracy. Remember, like at the beginning of the film, you've got the guy who's like sitting in that chair that like does everything for him. It's like a combination toilet, beer holder. Like or I guess it was Brondo. It was the whatever they were drinking in the movie.
Like, I love how the porn is so degenerate. It's a woman cutting a steak using her.
Well, that was ahead of its time, even that part of it.
Yeah, scary.
I swear, it's like they must have a think tank over in LA where the porn producers all get together. It's like, okay, yeah. In fact, it might just be Mad Libs. Right? And it's like, okay, let's do toilet brush. Let's use toilet brushes. That's now a fetish. But how the hell did that become a fetish? Nobody, that was never a fetish. They just made it up. They're just pulling words out of the dictionary and cramming together and like, okay, what should we degenerate the public with this month?
I have an idea. Black midgets with dragon dildos fucking a fat woman with while she's having like I don't know, hot chocolate poured on her or something.
I'm pretty sure that already exists. Like I don't know, that's not weird enough. You need to get, it's like, okay, this time bicycle pumps. Good lord. Yeah, that's going to be a bicycle pumps up the asshole and then farting out the air. That's going to be a fetish at some point. You heard it here first, folks. God. VRL Journey sends you us $5 and says, American women are insane because they are severely over-medicated, swapping between birth control and antidepressants. There's no way to stop it. And Bomb Bill says, pray the rosary before and after searching homunculus videos on YouTube. I know what a homunculus is supposed to be. I'm not going to search that. But yeah, the chemicals that people are shoving into them.
And Strontium19 says, I did know that was a suicide video. LOL. What was he referring to?
Yeah, somebody remixed on the Discord. Somebody remixed the chili dog time with
okay.
a kid that blew his head off with a shotgun on live stream.
Okay. Could whoever's eating mute their microphone? Like, I'm hearing someone eating in the microphone.
That's a bonus feature. That's our ASMR for the night.
Oh, okay. It sounds like somebody eating. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but
guys, should Drew do ASMR? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I think we might just found you an amazing career.
Oh no.
But you have to cut a steak between your toes.
Oh, the votes are coming in.
Oh God, what's this Jim Goat sex tape? I don't want to know anything about that.
Oh my God.
Is it like a woman with an extremely loose vagina using his head as a dildo?
Oh God, that's too much, man. Just the dead lights in his eyes. So let's go back to that comment again. It's that birth control really screws with women's hormones, and then they have this completely unhealthy lifestyle. But then on top of that, we aren't dealing with depression. If you're depressed, it means there's something wrong with your life and you need to change it. And instead of changing the thing that's making you depressed, people just take pills that make them ignore the depression. It's any shock that they're miserable. Let's see. No, we're not going to do reaction videos to Two Girls, One Cup. Yeah, being an NPC makes you absolutely miserable. You know, it's like, no space, dog. Come here. Come here.
Well, I don't think they know any other way to be. Like I said earlier, they've been programmed to be programmable. They're just running whatever program's been installed on them.
Well, see, this is what culture used to do. Culture used to program people and give them a healthy script that would give them a fulfilling lifestyle.
Right.
One of the things our enemies did was describe that lifestyle, or describe the culture as oppressive. They convinced everybody that you have to show self-restraint. That's oppressive. Oh, you have to uphold these virtues. That's oppressive. Come to our system. It's like the kids in Pinocchio, on Pleasure Island, just turning into jackasses.
Mm-hmm.
The eating is really gross. I can hear it, and I think I know who it is. It's really gross.
Yeah. Could you please mute your mic while you're eating?
Mr. Red Avatar.
Is it you, Ian?
Well, I'm not eating.
Okay, well, who's eating then?
It's not me. I always mute my mic when I'm not talking.
Yeah, it's not me either.
Sure as hell isn't me. I don't even have anything to drink right now.
Okay, it was coming from you, Ian. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a mouse hiding next to your microphone.
I hope it's not that other kind of wet sound that might be happening.
Oh, no.
Let's
Where
see.
are your hands, Ian?
Dashing Rogue would like ASMR bedtime stories like Mother Goose from you. Hey, Thrun.
What? No. Sorry.
The Brothers Grimm ones where everybody dies brutally.
What if he sends you $100 super chat?
Stop.
Oh my goodness. Oh my! Like, welcome to the current year, Goy. My favorite NPC meme is when the NPC says, "It is good to have cultures with widely divergent views live close to each other," and the normal guy says, "Why?" And the NPC thinks for a minute and then gets angry. Which, again, it's what I love about the NPC meme is the hypocrisy to the NPC meme. Like that one right there. Well, you're next to somebody with a view that diverges from yours, and now you're not happy about it. Isn't that interesting? Or the rants that the NPCs go on about how NPC is a dehumanizing term, and only dirty, evil Nazi subhumans use it.
I will say this in response to Rogue's request. When we launch Free Folk Radio, I will be doing my own podcast. So you'll be able to listen to me there. And I will have some media available for download. I'm going to be doing meditations and things like that. So if you find my voice soothing, there will be a means by which to get access to it in the future. And I think our host is refilling his beverage.
I'm back now.
Okay.
No loud clanks because we are now, our new sponsor is JP Wisers. Because I have a whole bunch of nice leather coasters to ease the sound of my glass going down for all of you.
Was that a sexual reference?
Wait, what?
Now we know what that noise is.
Yeah.
Was that whiskey you were pouring just now, or?
I don't know. You're talking about something going down easier. I don't know.
Stop making me blush. Viral Journey sends US $2. NPC isn't a choice, it's a death wish. You know, like the core of NPC is that you believe things that are contradictory. Like you have no consistency. The inner voice, like whether we're talking about the inner voice or whatever it is, the thing that makes you human, it's not thinking. Animals think. It's watching yourself think. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us sapient. Yeah, like people have, like this is kind of an unsettling thing to think about. That what you think in the present is the present actually just happened because you did not become aware of it until the pathways in your brain could light up. So you're actually living a nanosecond or two behind what you think the present is. And yes, we don't have absolute control over our choices and actions because we've already started making choices before we're aware that choices were even made. So that's not sapience right there. The thinking that like animals have that as well. And that's, yeah, it is very mechanistic. But above that, we can watch ourselves think. And that's what sapience is. It's not thinking, it's thinking about thinking. And when we watch ourselves think, we can look at those thoughts and say, are those thoughts true? Are they consistent? Etc. etc. Yeah, I was talking months ago. I was talking about bullying, because bullying is such an interesting phenomenon where what you're trying to do is insert a negative narrative into somebody else. So you go up to somebody else and you call them a loser. And the interesting thing is if you do it correctly, they will now adopt that label in their head and they will go and prove you right. It's not a good thing to do, but it's a very interesting phenomenon. Whereas if you are conscious and somebody calls you a loser, and then you examine the thought and you look at, well, am I a loser? Well, no, I'm not. And you dismiss it. You dump it from your head. You filter what things you think about. So yeah, you don't have direct control over your choices, but you have control over your belief systems, and your belief systems guide your choices. The NPCs can't do that. So they're chock full of absolute hypocrisy, top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
Like they deny, if you disagree with them, you're a bully, and they're going to prove it by getting a huge mob of people to hound you and get you fired.
Yeah, they're just drones.
Does this share any connection to like personality disorders, Davis, in your opinion?
You know what? I think it's a little bit more fundamental than personality disorders. I mean, like a personality disorder is a thing you can point to. Like there is this pattern, this mechanism of clockwork going on inside of a personality disorder, whereas these people just don't have personalities.
I think I understand what Royce is saying, though. And again, this goes back to fatherlessness. I keep going back to that, but we see personality disorder manifest in children who come out of fatherless homes. With females, it's typically borderline. With males, it's typically antisocial personality disorder. And we also see narcissism across both sexes, NPD. So I think the personality does not develop properly when there's no father in the home, because he is the socializing component. So there may be something to that.
Dash and Rogues comments, so gaslighting yourself, so to speak. And Purveyor of Mercy says, "Ma doublethink. Orwell was a true prophet." I think you could describe the NPCs as they are completely 100% open to gaslighting, but they don't even know it's gaslighting. See, gaslighting is all about taking somebody that does have a narrative and manipulating objective reality to make them second guess themselves, okay, and make themselves drive themselves insane. Whereas the NPCs, they should have been driven insane by all the contradictory bits inside their head, but they're not. Good Lord, they're just automatons. Tick 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 tick.
They're just soulless husks of what once was a human, but it's just not anymore. Sort of like Michael Myers, just empty black vacant eyes.
Oh, it's so sad. Like what a waste of humanity.
You know, I
So
know
the-
that I'm behind a time about 6 years, but I like to think of them as the Walking Dead, and we're really in the zombie apocalypse, and you know, they're just not rotting yet.
So the meme, it basically, it's targeting the political like opinions of, or you know, the way people react to, most people react to when they hear a controversial political opinion. That's what the meme is talking about, right?
Well, about how these people don't think about any of their politics. They just absorb whatever they're told to absorb.
That's what I was gonna get to. Like, it applies the NPC concept to you know, when you apply that to certain types of people, I think it applies to more than just the way they react to un-PC truths. I think it manifests itself in many different ways in the way the average NPC type person views anything, and not just politics, but any kind of a label that they associate with, that they draw value from, that they use as a shield, etc. When you attack or you transgress against that thing, they take it as a personal affront. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, that there's a broader than the political distinction alone.
Look
I
at
think
the wearing jeans with holes in them. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I get where you're coming from. They're guardians of the brand. They worship the brand, whatever the brand happens to be.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
This kind of fits with my theory of marketing and propaganda instilling neuroses in people.
Oh yeah, I mean they tell you that you know, you need this product in order to be smart. You need this product in order to be beautiful. You need this product in order to be successful in some way. And if you don't buy this product, well, then you're lacking.
Yeah, nobody will like you unless if you own this product, if you adopt this style, if you turn your baseball cap 30 degrees to the side.
Right.
Drink liquid soy. It'll make the women love you. Totally. Yes, it will.
Oh my God. These bearded soy boys, good Lord. How can you make a beard look so feminine?
They manage somehow.
I don't know how the hell they do it, but
If you have to sculpt it, then don't do it.
unless if it's one of those French mustaches where you get like the wax, the points coming out either side. Okay, those are badass.
Or like Kaiser Wilhelm's mustache.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Those guys did pay a lot of attention to their facial hair, and they didn't look soy. These guys look. Maybe it's that they don't have a chin underneath of it. Maybe that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of them are also fucking fat.
Yeah, it's like the chin just sort of dissolves into the neck. There's no discernible chin. There's probably no discernible Adam's apple either. They're just not getting enough testosterone to have that.
Well, I think part of it too is when you look at them, you see the hipster beanie being worn in the middle of summer, the thick-rimmed black rapist glasses, and the neck that you can get your hand around, you know, one hand around, and it just doesn't fit with the beard.
Oh, another super chat from Prayer of Mercy. Thank you, brother. It's so hard to say. It's the instant someone has a man bun, you know they have nothing useful to say. It's phenomenal, though. You know what? I was looking up Soylent. So Soylent is that beverage that all the soys like to drink. And let me pull this up here. Yeah, I've actually... Let me read you the ingredients, okay? Water, maltodextrin, soy protein isolate, high oleic algal oil, isomaltulose, canola oil, rice starch, and oat fiber.
Sounds
Wait, this
delicious.
is a real thing?
Yeah, this is a real thing. It's a meal replacement drink. And there's this hilarious picture of this soy boy doing the Soylent grin. And it's him saying, you know, oh, when the Soylent truck shows up and you get your Soylent.
I remember there was like a there was a meme going around that the soy boys were having a hard time getting the caps off.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a Reddit post, and the guy, it's an advertisement for this device that you grip onto I guess a lid of something and open it if you're really weak. And so the picture the guy posted to Reddit, unironically, was of a Soylent thing with the grip, that little grip device, and he's like, "This helped me open my bottle of Soylent."
There was a post on Goodbye America in a photo where they posted that with the comment, Soylent bottle opener or Chad cot girth caliper. But good Lord, when you drink so much Soylent, you can't open the bottle of Soylent. Can you just imagine when, like, post-apocalypse, the soys, so like they're in a warehouse full of Soylent, they're all starving because they can't open their Soylent bottles. They have to like poke holes in it and like suck on it like a nipple.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that's another thing. Is it just me, or do Gatorade bottles look a lot? Do they have nipples on the top of them? They do. Don't
They are specially shaped, aren't they?
I don't know. I don't drink Gatorade.
The sports ones do.
Yeah, some of them do, but but others like you're talking about the nipples where where you have to suck on it to get the liquid.
That's a nipple on top of the Gatorade bottle. So yeah, we've got this grown-ass man playing their sports ball, sucking on sugary nipples.
Yeah, they also have that on some water bottles too.
And this is why Thrun is single.
Yeah.
Okay, admit it. That's good marketing, though.
What's
You don't understand, ma'am. I just want to suck on your nipple a bit. It's a very pleasant sensation.
I like that sugary drink.
Oh man, I'm gonna go join a convent. I'm gonna change my religion and go join a convent to escape all this.
It's not too bad until you see them licking their Gatorade bottle.
I'm sure that happens. You've seen dude. You gotta be careful which gym you go to. I'll just leave it at that.
Don't go to Planet Fitness.
Well, no, it's like which gym in the city, because there's one gym where it's where the Bearded Man convention happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sort of like that.
You don't understand, bro. Soy is just another form of protein.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and tell me that the phytoestrogens don't do anything. What Soylent reminds me of? It reminds me of the Heart Attack Grill. So for those of you that don't know, the Heart Attack Grill is a series of restaurants with this whole heart attack gimmick to them. So they're designed like emergency wards. You have to put on a fake patient smock to go in there. All the waitresses are dressed up like nurses. And the meal sizes are absolutely ridiculous. And if you don't finish it, they spank you afterwards. Now, where this gets by the way. Mm-hmm.
It seems like something I'd come up with in one of my manic phases.
Well, here's the thing. The guy that and one more thing. If you weigh over 300 pounds, you eat for free. And the spokesperson is the currently living fattest person that eats there. Right? And they keep dying every couple of years, and they get a new fat guy to be the spokesperson. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. The interesting thing is that the guy that the guy that started the Heart Attack Grill, and if you see him, he's got a crazy look in his eyes. He used to own a chain of Jenny Craig's. And I can just see him, like, one day, he just snapped, because America keeps getting fatter, but fewer and fewer people were trying to lose weight. He just snapped and said, "You fat bastards want to be fat? I will make you fat." And he started the Heart Attack Grill. And from there, and I think the guy that started Soylent is the same thing. I will bet you that the owner, he's probably like some ex-PUA guy who like worked out of the gym. He's a personal trainer, and just all this weakness kept coming. He's like, "You want to be? I will make you weak. I'm going to take everything that's everything that's toxic but technically food and put it into one place, and you guys are going to pay me money to drink poison.
That's some sort of an idea I got.
It just amazed me. Canola oil. God, canola oil. There's so many oil. I'm sure these things aren't cheap. Okay, I'm sure they cost about twice as much as going to McDonald's or something.
Doesn't that stand for Canada oil? It's like something that's made in Canada. It's some kind of synthetic oil.
The name is rapeseed oil.
Rapeseed. There you go. Rapeseed. That's like a feminist term, isn't it? Rapeseed.
Oh, there's a lot of canola in this province. It's little yellow flowers. You'll see it driving around.
Okay.
But yeah, it's absolutely terrible. It's made in an industrial process. It's not natural. And that's the thing. Like, they could have put olive oil in it. They could have put coconut oil. But no, they went with canola oil because it's the worst of the oils. Maltodextrin. I don't even know what the hell maltodextrin is. Maltodextrin is a polysaccharide that is used as a food additive. It is produced from starch by partial hydrolysis and is usually found as a white, hygroscopic, spray-dried powder. Maltodextrin is easily digestible, being absorbed as rapidly as glucose, and might be either moderately sweet or almost flavorless depending on the degree of polymerization. It's commonly used for the production of soft drinks and candy. It can also be found as an ingredient in a variety of other processed foods. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So it's artificial sugar.
And this comes from the rapeseed oil? Is that right?
I'm not sure where this comes from exactly. Production. It can be enzymatically derived from any starch. In the US, the starch is usually corn. In Europe, it is common to use wheat. In the European Union, wheat-derived maltodextrin is exempt from labeling, as set out in Annex 2 of the EC Directive number 1169/2011. In the United States, however, it is not exempt from allergen declaration per the Food Lib. Good Lord. I feel like I'm reading some flavor script in a post-apocalyptic game right now.
You know, basically, if you read an ingredients list and you don't know what everything in it is, buy something else.
The only things I know of in Soylent are poisons. The other stuff is all Greek to me.
Well, it's getting so that you need an ingredient list to buy produce now. I mean, between the dyes and the waxes and everything else they're putting on it.
Oh, God. I'm looking at the website. Holy shit, this is a soy website. They even have a picture of a guy that's trying to be masculine by having a few days of growth, but his hair is all boy messy, and his skin is very pallid for some reason. He looks like he's a bugman. He looks like a gray alien that's masquerading as a human that just painted a beard on. Good Lord, guys, you have got to check out Soylent.com. This is such amazing bugman porn. Like this is probably this is the closest these guys can come to having an erection, is looking at all these iPod like images. Oh God, and it's milk white as well. Of course, it's milk white.
Of course.
They need to put a nipple on top of the Soylent bottle. Like, that would sell.
Oh God.
I think
maybe if
for
you
their
buy
market, it would be a dick that would sell.
Well, you know, if you get the nipple bottle and, you know, have a deal where you can buy like a case of it and get a package of adult diapers at the same time.
I also think that would sell. You could stay programming at you could stay at your computer longer, programming even more.
Wow. I'm looking at the Soylent website now. Wow.
If I asked you to come up with something that was as soy as possible for a website, you could not make something this soy.
This is pretty soy. Yeah.
Look at they've got the packages of the powder, the Soylent powder that you can mix in, and it looks like Avon products.
It does. Oh my. Wow. Yeah, look at the dude in the video. I mean, just that still that they have.
He's like an alien.
He looks afraid of it.
Afraid and yet passive.
And look, it's being offered like between his legs. Have you noticed there's like that little sexual, I don't know, some suggestive.
Well, with that gender indeterminate arm as well. I can't tell if that's a man hand or a woman hand. Like,
I can't either. And it also seems to be like racially, you can't really tell. Is it black? Is it white? Is it other?
Yeah, it is post-racial.
Post-racial and post-gender.
Oh God, this is the future. Everybody's drinking Soylent, and you have to compare birth certificates to figure out whether or not you can breed with one another.
Well, that explains the look on his face. He looks confused and disturbed all at once.
That's the same way he looks when he has to pull his dick out to take a piss.
What do I do with this thing?
Like the third date is when you exchange driver licenses to figure out which sex the other one is. That's the future Zuckerberg has planned.
Do our parts align?
The asexual Jewish Asian elite.
Oh God.
It's like, you know, there's going to be two water fountains. There's going to be whites and colored, but the white is the Soylent and the colored is the Gatorade. Oh God.
Oh my Lord.
What
This
terrible...
this website's over the top, and then the guy in the red shirt, like, could his hair and beard be any more neatly groomed?
I know, like what a very fit and good-looking bottom he is. Something
Wow.
about his beard. I don't know. It looks like it was made in Photoshop.
Yeah, it looks like it was a pen and ink, like a pen and ink stipple illustration.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look like it's an actual beard. It's got these patterns in it.
And the shirt is just too clean.
And it doesn't fit him quite right either. You notice that? It's like too wide at around the chest.
Yes.
Sleeve. He has borderline sleeves. Used to be only girls with borderline sleeves. Now guys do as well.
It's like a drapery. It's kind of draped.
And the two hands, like, levitating the box. They don't look human. Or they don't.
That's the most disturbing image on the entire website.
It's terrifying. It's like an alien corpse or something. It's like, I know hands are hard to draw. I didn't realize they were hard to photograph as well.
Oh my. Yeah, like the box is suspended in midair and the hands aren't even making contact with it. It's very strange.
Oh, they just seem bent in the weirdest way. And like the bottom hand, what's that muscle that starts up like 3 inches from the wrist? Like, I don't have one of those.
Oh my. I'm afraid to click on any of these links. I don't know where it's going to take me.
And the one on top, it's like the thumb seems to have more joints than it should.
That's it. I got to move on from this website. This is too much.
Oh, good Lord. It is. Like, it's like the Throdash in Star Control 2, and they talk about like their cultural progression. They're currently at culture 19, which is obviously the best culture to date. And it's like this right here was like one of the cultures that failed, that only lasted for 2 weeks. The Bugman alien culture. That's gonna be our cultural experiment. We're gonna make this, and they're like, nope, that failed.
Wow. Red Pill Jesus sends US $2. All this soy causes me to double down on the tea. You know what? You and me both.
Oh, dude, and sorry, I think Viral Journey sent $5 earlier that I missed. So more irony to pretend that they're not insane, endless holes. Okay, he's talking about these bugmen. You know what? I think that's why they love irony so much.
Yeah.
It's because like that's the only thing they have left when all of their beliefs contradict one another is to be ironic about everything. They're only drinking soy ironically.
Is there any other way to drink soy?
It's not gay if you're doing it ironically.
I see. I'll have to remember that the next time I pour myself a dram of scotch.
Mm. Yeah, it's like I'm going to have to buy some steak as well. Let's Hyperborean XRP points that out. Yeah, I think I need some steak. Just looking at this is lowering my T levels.
So just out of curiosity, you think this whole irony thing is why people take these selfies with making these fucked up faces? They've always got like the weird expression on their face. Is that what they're trying to do, is be ironic?
Like the duck face?
Well, the duck face or the cocked eyebrow with the, kind of pursed lips off the one side face. I don't know what the hell you call that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Good Lord, I hate those. Like that's an instant left swipe, you know?
They're trying to look, I don't know what. I guess ironic. I don't know. I don't know what the term is.
I don't know. I've even asked and people won't tell me why they do it.
Maybe they don't know why they do it. They're just trying to provoke a response.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's instead of having a personality, they're trying to provoke a response.
So it's like buying a t-shirt to tell everybody who you are instead of actually having to have a personality?
Could be.
Oh, good Lord. There's a lot of human refuse on the planet.
I mean, these guys are giving feminine a bad name, you know?
Oh, it's terrible. Let's see. People are mentioning Beardson for some reason. Yeah, Beardson's been doing some pretty good work lately. Let's see. He was one of the original guys to call it the alt-right. Him and Forney kind of got into it, but nonetheless, they've made their peace.
Mm-hmm. No Forney tonight. I'm surprised. He didn't
I would have loved to have him, but it's late where he is.
Oh, that's right. He moved farther east, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's in Georgia.
I think he's hunting for a Russian bot.
Okay.
Oh, and Davis, I found a picture of the guy who founded Soylent, and I sent it to you on Skype. Just take a look at it.
I'm gonna have to check this out. By the way, Viral Journey comments, I only watch Blair White, ironically, faggot.
I only watching my mom go black, ironically. It's totally just that, bro.
Okay, inventor of Soylent, he is a bug man. It's confirmed, 100% bug man. God, why is his body misshaped?
He's been using his own product.
Apparently, so it gets absorbed faster. That's got to be a somebody needs to make that a product. The Soylent Enema Kit, for when you don't have time to drink your food, you just put it in the enema.
Holy shit!
Hey, can I chime in something about Beardson?
No, go ahead.
I was the first person who told Matt Forney that Beardson wanted to reconcile, and Sippin' Salsa even made a clip of it. Okay, so I take credit for that, and I will fight you if someone says that's not true. But when I see Beardson these days, I can tell he wants to make serious content, because once in a while he'll make a podcast like that, like one on his YouTube right now, but he can't because he's an irony bro, and he will always be an irony bro until he lives to see the day when someone else becomes his irony bro. He's stuck being an irony bro.
Oh, that's a terrible market to be in.
Can someone actually explain what that means?
He's a scoffer. He's really good at it. It's awesome what he does. He's the best, but he's a scoffer. At the end of the day, he's a scoffer, and all he can do is make fun of content and fluff up being a gamer and hating women and other stuff that, he's really good at making it funny. Like, like hate women, play games, pee in a bottle, but he can never put forth positive content because the day he does that, he opens himself up to the same response.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So it's sort of like and I don't want to shit on the guy, but sort of like Medicare in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
he's like
die by the
Medicare
sword.
like.
By the way, hey Thrune, I just sent you a picture that Bulwarker sent me.
Oh, is it his fault?
Yes. I believe that's the creator of Soylent, isn't it, Bulwarker?
I think so, and he seems to be enjoying it a little too much.
I just dropped the link in chat if you guys want to see that.
Oh my.
Yes, behold the sexy Bugman soy-filled body he has,
He is
and
literally-
salivate at it.
He is facializing himself with Soylent.
He too has a beard that's too neatly trimmed.
Again, it's like, how does he sculpt it like that?
Maybe his boyfriend sculpts it for him.
That's got to be it.
It's like a raster in a video game.
God, this photo says so many things that are just so wrong on so many levels.
This is like nuns look at this to maintain celibacy.
I don't know. Pagan women might also choose celibacy over that.
You know what? And look at the. I just noticed this. Notice how in the background there's like greenery, as if he's outside. And he's even wearing. No. Look into the reflection of his sunglasses. Those are office lights that he's looking up at. Like,
oh wow!
Does not exist. Like, this is like some sort of shitty sterile spaceship that he's on. God, and look at his hand. Look at how pretty those fingers are.
Oh wow, that's like a woman's hand.
I was going to say, it looks like a woman's holding it, pouring it in his face.
Maybe it is. I mean,
that's his boyfriend.
Even his hat.
Listen, his girlfriend is just like, listen, you bitch, you're gonna drink all this shit while I fuck Tyrone, and you're gonna like it.
Virile Journey says press E for Exterminatus. Yeah, guys, E, it's Exterminatus time. White Devil from the Illuminati says this is way better than Joe Rogan. I don't think Joe Rogan's allowed to offend the Soylent drinkers.
Joe Rogan is just Oprah for men.
wow.
All I know about Joe Rogan is that his children have the right of return. Just mentioning it. Just odd. Just another coincidence. And it's like, oh my God, look at this guy. Again, this is clearly a real photo, but I want to believe that it's a computer graphic. Exterminatus. Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Kill it with fire.
Yeah.
Kill it with fire, and then kill it again.
Yeah, guys, stay away from all of these meal replacement, like all of this stuff. I have yet to see one that has real food in it. Okay, like even the protein bars and whatnot that they try and sell to backpackers, those are all full of soy as well. Those are full of all sorts of garbage. It's amazing. But like
Yeah,
when,
you have to read everything anymore. Like, so much food has soy in it now. Like, things you wouldn't even expect,
Yeah, like the only bread recently I found that didn't have soy in it was like some sourdough was like a sourdough loaf I found at Whole Foods.
yeah, they even put it in bread.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Let's-
better off making your own bread anyway. It's easy.
See, this is why I like the carnivore diet. I just have meat, and meat with a side of meat.
Don't forget butter. You can have butter and cream.
And cheese.
And cheese. That's right.
And eggs.
And eggs.
Basically, don't eat anything if it didn't come from something that has a face.
So mandrakes, okay?
Tonight I'm having lamb and potatoes.
There we
Lamb.
go.
Lamb's good stuff.
I had steak and bacon.
Oh God, yeah. HIV positive transgender comments. I do like women. There just aren't many good ones left. I mean, like just the quality of humanity these days is bottom of the barrel. Just absolute garbage humanity out there. And so when the culling, you know how the CIA says if the electricity got cut out, 90% of the population would be dead within a year? I'm okay with that. I am 100% okay with that.
Well, I mean, that's why we've got the free folk. We're trying to cultivate better people, trying to cultivate some virtue in both men and women.
Space Dog will enjoy her diet of hippie pate.
Yeah, and that's the truth, Adrian. We can't just, talk about the condition of women. Men are pretty much shit these days too. It's the whole of humanity.
Mm-hmm. And the only way we're going to turn it around is to start cultivating something better. We can complain all we want, but if we don't start doing something to make it better, then we don't have anything to look forward to.
Yeah,
To be
that's
people farmers.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we call it folk building. We are building our folk.
There's so many guys out there that have potential, but they're pissing it away right now. They are, even if they're making money, they're wasting their money on what, cocaine and picking up hose and other garbage like that. No, guys, we need to be building something that lasts the test of time.
Yeah, and if they want decent women, I mean, women are hardwired for security. So, I mean, a guy's got to have his shit together. If he hasn't already built up some kind of financial wealth for himself, he has to be on the path to doing so, and that has to be something that can be measured and proven. Women want to know that they're going to have a stable, reliable guy. I mean, especially if you're looking to have children. I mean, any woman who's going to be interested in having children is going to want a man who has got his act together.
Yeah, so start building, fellas. Like, yeah, you can get the tots right now. It's really easy to get the tots. You can be homeless and get tots. All right, that's fine. So you got the tots. Go get a wife. Go build something.
And it helps if you don't look like a soy boy, because part of that security is a woman likes someone who looks like they can defend them.
Mm-hmm.
That too, yeah. I mean, some of these guys look like they need the woman to defend them. and that may be true in some of these cases.
Well, yeah, they look like pipe cleaner dolls.
Our type.
Their tone.
The female is larger and bigger than the males.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the Black Widows always eat their mates.
Well, that's the thing. The only thing in nature that I know of where the female is larger and stronger than the male is some kind of insect or arachnid.
Mm-hmm. I want to address a comment here from Stone Roses 1989. He says, "Hey, Drew, that's the Beta Bucks equation, though. Here's the thing, though. It's got to be a balance, right? The superior man is not alpha or beta exclusively. He's going to have a balance of dominant qualities, and he's also going to have a balance of supportive qualities. I mean, no woman wants to settle down with an asshole. Okay, she wants dominance in her man, but she doesn't want him to be the Chad that's going to run off on her. She's going to want a guy who's going to stick around and be able to provide for her and her children. It is a balance, okay? And I think men ultimately are looking for the same type of thing in a woman. They want the woman who is going to be a good mother and a good partner and supportive and a homemaker and so forth. But they also want a woman who's going to be exciting and stimulating, in the bedroom and romantically and that sort of thing, who's going to present well. So it is a balance.
Did you just say present well?
Present well, yes, as in, look good and.
Oh, I thought you meant something else.
Oh, no. Don't, dirty little
yeah.
mind. Dirty.
If you don't mind, I'd like to address something here.
Go ahead.
Stone Roses says, I've gotten laid more being broke and a neat than when I had a stable job. Stone, getting laid is easy. We're talking about a stable relationship with a decent person. It's totally different from hooking up.
Here's the other thing. When we're talking about beta bucks, in the modern economy, beta bucks means that you're a submissive little obedient soy boy to the corporation, right? So there's a huge difference between beta bucks because you drink Soylent every day versus owning your own business, owning your own property, owning a castle. Huge difference between the two of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we are all journey comments. Just wait until we can throw our weight around, mates. With males like this, it'll be child's play. Oh, God. Yes, it will.
But I mean, that really shouldn't be. I'm sorry. I have to ask whoever is eating or.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing over there?
I'm just walking.
Oh,
You're walking on gravel. Okay, that's what it is.
okay.
Sounds like you're chewing. You need to mute it.
I
What was it?
won't chew my tongue for demonstration of what me chewing sounds like.
Okay.
At least we don't have Forney blowing his nose into the microphone.
That is true. We must count our blessings, gentlemen. But yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be focused on, how easy it's going to be to throw these guys around. I mean, focus on building something. Why is the emphasis always on the negative?
That's an excellent point. And that's really the big thing. One of the things, certainly I'm trying to do with the free folk, is get away from beating the left. I don't want to beat the left. I just want the left. I want to be shielded from the left. I want to be able to go places and not see any soy boys, right? I want to be around civilized, intelligent, well-read human beings. I don't want to beat the left. I just don't want to have to acknowledge the left.
Right. Well,
So,
it's like that video that I shared with you earlier today, Aurini, and I don't know that you got a chance to watch it yet, but
about 20 minutes of it. And by the way, Jolly Crocodile used to be a regular around here. We need to get him back.
really, yeah, get him on back because I mean, I really enjoyed the content of that video, and I think it's absolutely relevant to the work that we're doing. But one of the things that is
I don't exactly know what the video is about yet.
okay. I was just going to make a brief comment that one of the things that that they discuss, and I think it was the guest who brings it up, is it echoes what you just mentioned there, that he just wants to live separate and apart from all of this madness. He wants to live in an environment where he can raise his children away from all of this degeneracy. It's not about trying to stop the degenerates from being degenerate. It's about protecting the rest of us from the consequences of what they do. They're still free to do what they want to do. We just want to be away from it, and we want to have our own communities, our own economies, separate and apart from all of that.
When I was down in Vegas last time, I had to show the ex-girlfriend Fremont Street because it's the best human zoo on the planet. And when we were going there were a bunch of these Christ boys holding up signs. They were wearing red T-shirts. Like, what is it with these Christ boys? Okay, like these. Oh God, yes, I'm still Catholic, guys. All right, but Catholics, we have some self-respect. It's these guys. They're evangelizing. They're either wearing like they got a red T-shirt and they got socks and sandals on, or they've got this really bad looking suit on, right? It's why can't you dress like men? I don't know how they should dress. I just know they shouldn't dress like that. Anyway, so we're walking into Fremont Street, and there's these three guys. They're holding up signs. It's like, you're living a life of sin. Jesus doesn't want that. Like, I don't disagree with them exactly, but you're not really communicating a useful message, are you? Instead of fighting, the reason I love Las Vegas is because it puts evil to good purposes. Now, if you are a degenerate that wants to gamble away their life and pay $50 to take a photo with a couple of those girls in the bikinis and the sparkles and everything hanging out there, then go ahead and do that. Right? I can't stop you from pissing away your money on such useless endeavors. Or, good Lord, the Fremont Street strip club. It is the second worst strip club I've ever been to, and that's only because I've been to the daytime downtown Brantford, Ontario strip club. God, that was even sadder. But if you're going to throw your money away on this stuff, then I'm not going to stop you. I got Psalms 1:1, do not stand between a sinner and his sin. You go right ahead and do it. And all those people throwing away money like that in Las Vegas is why it's so incredibly cheap to live there. It's why the city is so beautiful. They can spend money on beautification of the city. It enables all of these amazing Vegas acts and shows and all of that stuff. Yeah, so like these guys, they're standing around in their stupid red t-shirts trying to fight the degeneracy, and like, what the hell have you accomplished? Nothing. You didn't build anything. You didn't convince anybody not to do anything. You just made an ass of yourselves. And the same thing goes for fighting the left. What the hell did you accomplish by arguing with an SJW online?
Yeah, and the people who masquerade as conservatives but behave like leftists, they're just as bad, and they have to be treated the same way.
That's one thing to point out about the NPC, is that they are absolutely NPCs on the right. Okay, the people that it's not as prevalent these days, but go back 10 years, and I'd point out, it's like when Bush decided to invade Iraq, I was like, what the fuck does this have to do with 9/11? But your average dumb, stupid, fat person, that sits around watching Fox News would go, well, I'm pretty sure they're all doing it over there. They were connected somehow. Because they just, insert political opinion.
It's like search National Review article, blah, 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 conservative talking point, like that.
Pepe sells, but who's buying? Comments, Davis, the best thing a male Catholic can do to evangelize is to be a man that others want to be like. Preaching is worthless. And, this is something I said to you, Hathrim, because there were some concerns early on in our association. Heathens don't want a Christian to come around evangelizing.
No, we do not.
And that's exactly what I said to you. Like, one, yelling about the Bible at them isn't going to accomplish jack all. And two, even if I were trying to evangelize in any extent, it would be embodying virtue and hoping that they would emulate that virtue. And that, guys, that's how you do it. Christ doesn't need more people standing on the street corner quoting him out of context.
Well, the thing is, a man can be virtuous regardless of his religious preference. I know many heathen who are far more virtuous than any follower of an Abrahamic faith. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't virtuous people within the Abrahamic faiths. I'm just saying that among my own folk, I've seen some very virtuous people.
When you get it right down to it, we have there's only one good, and we agree on what that good is.
Mm-hmm.
Different words for it sometimes, but we're in full agreement. And BRL Journey comments, Ben Shapiro is an enemy. Yeah, I think he is.
Did we miss a super chat a little while back? I think Red Pill Jesus had one.
Oh, let me scroll back.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, right, we did. He says, every time I hear a woman say they want a strong, every time I hear a guy say they want a strong, independent woman, those are the kind of men who want a mother figure to go take care of them, sadly.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, are you saying you have some personal experience with it?
I do, and for some reason, because I am a strong female, I have attracted those types of personalities in droves over the course of my adult life.
Yeah, guys, a strong woman still wants to be a woman, not a mother figure.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's like the women that say they want a strong, confident, independent man, and then tries to turn him into a project. So it goes both ways on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, people, instead of striving, they want to fall into dysfunction. I mean, that's what the left offers. It offers no standards, no expectations. So you never have to strive. You never have to take responsibility. I mean, you know what? Wouldn't it be easier for all of us here to just complain about the left and not be working on, the free folk is taking so much of my energy. Be easier, just do a live stream, bitch about the left. Be an irony bro. That would be the easy thing to do. Fuck that.
Yeah, basically be Ben Shapiro and Dinesh D'Souza at a college campus.
Well, yeah, and just feed the public empty calories. This isn't easy work. What Aurini's saying is true. It isn't easy work. I put an awful lot of time into the Free Folk because it is my baby, and I don't know what dividends it may yield. I hope it yields tremendous dividends, but we're living in crazy times, and all I can do is the best I can and hope that it yields something positive. I just know that it's a better way to spend my time than complaining about everything that's wrong with society. That's not going to accomplish anything worthy.
And I think you're right that Ben Shapiro. People accuse him of being a Zionist or crypto, and he is literally he's a Zionist. But I think he's just an NPC that download right-wing Jewish political opinion. I have trouble hating Shapiro. He's just an NPC.
He's just a little dweeby loser.
Oh God! Remember when the tranny threatened to beat him up and he complained to teacher?
For some reason, I'm glad I don't know what you're talking about.
If I could make a point on the last subject that you talked about with the Vegas thing and the young Christian kids, out there, it reminded me of like the Mormon kids that you'd see on the bikes that would come knock on your door, and like want to talk to you about Jesus. And there's a reason why those are like the 17-year-old kids they're sending to do that shit, and not the 30-year-old guys. You know what I mean? Because you have to be that young and naive to think anyone is going to give a shit about what you have to say on such matters, like the way they go about it. So what I'm trying to say is, look, when I first got into the whole red pill sphere and all that stuff several years ago, the focus was on the self in the sense of the tone of what you're supposed to do with this information. It's for you. But over the years, it's shifted towards like, we need to red pill everyone else.
No, you're not going to red pill the normies.
That's what I'm saying. The whole idea of this, like, we're going to red pill the normies, is a bullshit concept. That's when you're being sold a crock of shit about how you should spend your time and what you should do. So,
well, it's not for them. I mean, what you call the normies, we heathen would call third function people. They are emotionally driven people. They're appetitive, and they have to be fed a certain type of narrative. The problem that we have with modern society is they're being fed a narrative that is unhealthy, that is downright toxic to them. We need to replace that with a healthy narrative.
Yeah, I agree. I was more specifically referring to like the red pill sphere or the manosphere, whatever you want to call it, in terms of the content, what its content is meant to do. When I discovered it, it was more like stuff for the average guy to learn and apply. Whereas now a lot of the stuff that I come across is, like people memeing and wanting to quote red pill the normies on things that are just, when you really look at it, it's just kind of ridiculous. The idea that you're going to change anyone else's mind. I would never have found any of this material had I not already kind of made the decision that I was looking for it.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same way that the red pill started off about how do I get my dick wet, and it wound up leading men to God, because it was a genuine question. It was like, I want to know something. I want to see the truth, and God gave us. He told us how to get laid with women, and he said, by the way, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes along with this.
Yeah, what I was going to say was there's a lot of bullshitters and scam artists that come with all that too. Not to say that everyone who writes is that, but there definitely is some snake oil in the mix. Oh,
absolutely. VRL Journey sends us $5 and says, it reminds me of those street preachers who go to gay pride just to get harassed by fags and nothing else. Once again, what blows me away with these guys is they have no sense of rhetoric whatsoever. If you want to waste your time trying to convince people at the gay pride parade to change their ways, you don't quote Bible at them. They don't consider the scripture an authoritative source. What you do is you hold up a sign that says the path you're on will lead to disease, loneliness, infertility, and early death. You tell them the truth. That might actually make some people reconsider. Although probably you'll just be attacked. And once again, why are you fighting them?
It'd be a lot more effective if they showed up pictures of infected genitals.
Let's see, and Dashing Rogue since US $5. Careful, Google has been censoring super chat, so to speak. Couldn't post in chat. Well, that's why it's spelled PHAGS. Oh, by the way, something that Stone Roses is mentioning. Just said he lives in Ontario, and it's damn hard to find even the most basic of jobs now. Dude, move to Alberta. Get a job in the oil patch. Make a bunch of money. Work your ass off for a year. Make a bunch of fucking money. And then figure out what you want to do with yourself. A lot easier to figure out what the hell you want to do with yourself when you have $5,000 in the bank. Yeah, it's. I miss Ontario sometimes. The architecture there is far more beautiful. There's a lot more history, but yeah, there's some positive signs in Ontario. But it's completely. It's been taken over. Despite the positive signs, I don't have high hopes for where it's going. Yeah, he says here in Ontario, we don't care about economy, we care about social justice, promoting homosexuality and feminism, and very little else. And the thing about Alberta is that ultimately it is still based on economics. And he asks, look, hasn't the patch collapsed? Yeah, but there's still work. And the oil patch always comes back. People always need oil.
Well, they need some of that rapeseed oil or canola oil or whatever else you got going on.
Ian, noise.
Sorry. There's some asshole speeding down the street in a minivan.
I don't know how you deal with so much excitement in your life. It would leave me catatonic.
The minivan drive-by.
Oh, God, yeah, they fly gay pride flags at public schools now. Of course they do. It's not enough to turn the frogs gay. But here's the thing, guys. Like the point is, do you want to spend all this energy fighting? So you go to gay pride, you spend the day getting yelled at, and maybe you might convince one person, right? Or you could be using that time to build up your own wealth and power.
That's right.
We don't need people evangelizing. What we need is more people in positions of power.
Well, here's a question. We've talked about how the left is basically a bunch of intellectual toddlers. So why don't we start treating them like intellectual toddlers? You spank them and you let them stand in the corner and scream and you ignore them.
Yes, that's highly effective.
You know, and it's honestly the worst thing for these guys, ignoring them.
Oh yeah, it sucks the wind right out of their sails because they feed off of that.
Just act like they totally don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you want to see something weird, check out the link I sent into the Hangout chat. It's basically it's a thread about a 10-year-old boy drag queen. That pretty much says it all.
What's his name? It like means penis or something, doesn't it?
I don't know.
What?
I skimmed the article, but I like how they mention like, and he has 36,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's germane to what? They really want you to. They're trying to sell you really hard on like how cool this kid is or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty
like that. Like that's important to a child's development. Really.
I'd be really creeped out if my son had thousands of Instagram followers. You know, that might be something the FBI should consider looking into.
But he's famous.
Yeah, we got kids doing drag now. I could have sworn there was a picture of this on Goodbye America.
And you know what's going to happen to these kids? They're going to suffer the same type of problems that the child celebrities suffer. You know, over the decades, you've had these child celebrities, and then they become an adult, and they don't have any of that attention anymore, and they have all the problems. These kids who are getting high off of the internet celebrity, they're going to suffer the same types of fallout.
Oh, good lord! Look at the adults that did the internet celebrity.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It is a false form of success.
By the way, there's this isn't the kid that you're talking about. This is another one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a boy. Poor guy.
Wow. Well, look at the parents.
Whoa.
Is that, I guess we can call them parents? Is that?
People
Wow.
do that shit for social media posturing. That's it. They would not be doing this crap if they like didn't know. They act like they're. This is what fucking annoys me about this. Excuse my language, but they know goddamn well that they're going to get props for it online, but they act like, oh, we're so brave for doing this because we're taking a chance or whatever. When they fucking know they're gonna get their ass kissed and not kicked. So it's just annoying how they fake the bravado and try to claim all this hero points at the expense of their kid. It's just fucked up as hell.
Right.
There's another one for you from the Metro. You know, welcome to the current year, Goy.
Oh, jeez.
An object of suspicion and terror, and a radical Muslim.
Wow.
Oh, and since I'm there, this is the Chad Dick Girth caliper.
Oh yeah.
You're right. They look like Avon products.
Which the tranny?
No, the Soylent packaging.
They do. Okay, Ian, we got more noise in the background, buddy.
Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like a cosmetic. Yeah, it looks like a cosmetic line.
Or it looks like the paint bottles you find in the art department.
That too. Either one would be appropriate.
Definitely not something I would drink.
No.
God, I love Goodbye America in a photo. It just the ongoing degeneracy is so amazing.
I don't know if you guys have talked about this, Davis, but did you happen to catch Soygoy on the kill stream with Matoker the other night?
I just
cringy ass conversation they had.
You got to tell me about this.
Well, it was okay. On the kill stream, Sargon came on after apparently messaging Ralph like, I got some great idea, you have to hear about it. So he's like, brings him on with Jim as well, and he goes, basically he waffles and bullshits and he sounds stupid, but his ultimate point was we need to get Trump to tweet the Gamergate hashtag. So they're like, it was just really, really cringy. You could tell this guy was just grabbing at straws for attention. It was pretty funny. It's like an hour of that shit too.
Yeah, you know what? I think the guy, who is that? Orwell and Good or something like that. It's the guy that has the Shiba for his avatar. He tweeted something about that, about how Sargon is just trying to resurrect. Like, listen, guys, Gamergate failed. It completely shit the bed. It showed us we had all the damn momentum with Gamergate, and we completely shit the bed because the movement was taken over by narcissists and backstabbers, right? And ironically, one of the big ones being Sargon of Akkad.
It just shows how out of touch with reality he is, that he's thinking a 4-year-old dead hashtag no one even really cared about anyways he's going to get anything out of that. It's so not relevant. So that just shows where he's at mentally. And you should just listen to the clips because he sounds like he's cracking up.
He just wants Trump senpai to notice him.
Who actually thinks that's going to happen at his level of fame? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
All I'm going to say is, I certainly don't curse my enemies, but they don't tend to turn out too well as the years go on. Viral Journey sends US $5. It said, if I saw this shit IRL, I'd probably do something illegal. Crimes against nature don't count in Pause World. And Red Pill Jesus, US $10. Thank you, brother. Men embracing their masculinity is a hell of a lot more effective than wasting time arguing with leftists, because once you embrace your nature unapologetically, everything else will fall into place. And then NWO Dispatcher chimes in with $5. Normies don't build culture. Red-pilled folks build culture, hierarchy, and consumerist normies populate it. Multiculturalism is perpetual culture war hell.
Those guys are right on, both of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, we don't fight them. We build something.
That's right.
You know, this is Sargon. He wishes he could still fight Anita Sarkeesian. But Anita Sarkeesian, you know, for all her flaws, she made her money and she got out of Dodge. Smart.
Yeah, you build something and you establish standards for getting a stake in what you have built. And that's how you protect it. You don't let anybody in who hasn't been vetted and proven. That's the way you do it.
Well, and actually I think that's one of the big things being offered by the free folk is the problem with the Free State New Hampshire project, or the problem with Gamergate and the alt-right, is that there is no hierarchy and there are no oaths. What we're doing is creating a new civilization with this. Listen, I just get iced. Do you want to riff off of that, Hey Thrun?
I'm going to let Bullfarker riff on it. Because I get too much talk time as it is.
I wasn't. I'm not in that whole thing. I don't have anything to say on that.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not.
You don't have anything to say on that?
Nope.
I'm surprised.
Okay, well, I'm back.
Okay.
Put it like this. Boy Scouts has a code of behavior, and it has some governance policies for how it runs that expects certain things out of its members. And so, now granted, yeah, it's just Boy Scouts, but Boy Scouts, if it were adult men, it could become something a lot bigger if it wanted to. In fact, that's the whole point of Boy Scouts, is turning boys into men, or at least it used to be. Now it's about pausing their neck holes in the woods.
You don't understand. Gay man Troy just wants to teach the boys something nice and wholesome.
But you know, again, this whole identifying as your sexual fetishes. Keep in the closet, nobody cares. Okay, but the fact that you need to tell me about it tells me that this is like a huge chip on your shoulder. It tells me that you're not right in the head, that you need to tell everybody what you're into. Like, it's just a sexual fetish at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Boy Scouts, there's a way to be a Boy Scout and there's a way not to be a Boy Scout. If you break the rules, you get kicked out. And you can, because of that, you can then expect that your fellow scouts will adhere to a certain standard. Unlike something like Gamergate, unlike Free State New Hampshire, where there is no organization, there are no oaths, there are no commitments, there are no standards whatsoever. Bombadil says, "Lol, man scouts." We won't go back to the man cave. Drive the man car.
Bullfarker just told me offline he thought we were talking about the Sarkeesian thing. That's why he said, I don't know what we're talking about.
No.
Yeah, y'all were talking about Gamergate. I kind of zoned out on that. I don't care about that.
I said, what do you mean you don't? You're in the free folk. How can you say that?
I'm like, I don't really got much to do with that.
So what were you asking?
Basically, the point of the free folk is to create this, unlike Gamergate, which was just pure anarchy. The point of the free folk is to create an organization that surrounds you with people that are trustworthy, that have oaths that they will hold to, or they'll be kicked out.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you lost me at the Gamergate thing. I just kind of tuned out because it's ancient history, but yes, as a what the hell you call it, as a diametrically opposed thing, the free folk, yes, it's about holding people to standards and building people to be, what we should be, building true adults, building people going from being a third function worker bot to people who take control of their own life and can pass that on to their children and to others intellectually that aren't their physical children, but intellectual children, so to speak.
And you got to earn your way into it. It's not as simple as just putting a hashtag in your Twitter profile.
Right. It's all based off of the old Indo-European free estate society, where you had free men, and free men held freeholds or free estates. So that's the whole premise of it. Anybody who's interested in that can just read their history.
It's not about sending in a $25 fee and you get your membership card and now you're special or anything.
An interesting comparison is the City of London. CGP Grey has a really interesting video on that because they use the same terminology still. They are following the exact same system. And the City of London basically rules the world. I'm not talking about London. I'm not talking about Westminster. I'm talking about the City of London, which is a distinct entity from what most people think of as London.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, guys, sky's the limit with this. How far do you want to go? You choose your own level of involvement in Fight Club.
or the free folk.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, I mean, we have sponsored levels of membership too, if people want to get involved at that level. Not everybody has to become a trothed man.
But if it's your first time, you have to fight.
Don't expect getting in without earning some scars in the process. Don't work it happen organically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think now's a good time to close things out. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats. I wish we had more planned for this one, but believe me, guys, I am working my ass off constantly lately. There's so much going on, and it is bearing fruit. It is truly bearing fruit. Do we have any last words from anybody?
Just prayer. I mean, I would just want to remind people, if they are interested in what we're doing, please do reach out to us at www.freefolk.org. You can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/FREOFOLC. We post any podcast engagements there, and also any news that's going on. And if you want to support us financially, we do have a PayPal me link. That's paypal.me/thefreefolk. Appreciate it.
Lord, thy protection, and in protection, strength, and in strength, reason, and in reason, knowledge, and in knowledge, truth, and in truth, justice, and in justice, love, and in love, the love of God, and the love of every living animation. Amen.
Hail.
Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. We will be here again next week. Thank you for the super chats. God bless every single one of you. Deus Volt, this is Aurini, out.